Manchester United v Wolfsburg preview then with the United stand after the massive dramas of Pizzagate on the Sunday show last night. I apologise, it was nothing to do with me. I'm back and we're here to talk about Manchester United v Wolfsburg. As I said, Wednesday night we're playing Wolfsburg and we will be graced at Old Trafford with the world's greatest player. Not my words, the words of the man himself, Nicklas Bendtner. Yeah, that idiot plays for them, but may well be on the bench. We'll talk about Wolfsburg in a moment. As you've seen, that's my starting lineup as well. We'll also be talking about this whole Valencia-Young debate that's going on at the moment. And at the very end, it is Monday night, so we will be doing the Q&A, so do get some questions in as well. However, this is my team for the Wolfsburg game, and the people are going to disagree. There are potential doubts over Rojo being fit, but straight away, let's fly into this. A few people not happy that there's an anti-Valencia agenda apparently from the United stand. Don't know where that's come from. We do have panelists. We allow people to have an opinion. My personal opinion as the main presenter of the channel, I like Valencia, but he reminds me of a Sunday lunch, Sunday roast. The potatoes come out, they're fantastic. The veg, absolutely brilliant. But there's no beef, there's no chicken, there's no lamb, there's no turkey. There's no final product is what I'm getting at with Valencia. Really good player, like the pace, like his control, love his strength, but he cannot cross the ball. And that is why, for me, you would always go, if they are fit, natural right back, Darmian, natural left back, Rojo. Rojo plays there for Argentina. Yes, Valencia can do a job, but no way should Darmian be going left back. I know he was fantastic against the weekend against Sunderland. He can play there, but if Rojo is fit, he's got to go in there and you move Darmian across. That is why. I've got nothing against Valencia. I think in the midfield, did it last season around this time against Everton. He can do a job in there because he's so strong. He is good on the ball. I think he does it for his country as well. So I'm definitely not against Valencia. Very, 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 very good and important squad player. But if Rojo is fit, so I'd go with that. Obviously, Blind and Smalling pick themselves. Carrick and Schweinsteiger, I like them two together. Schweinsteiger will definitely play, rested at the weekend. I would keep Schneiderlin back for the Arsenal game. That's a massive game. We're going to need a lot of energy, and I'd keep Schneiderlin back for that. So what he might do, I think Louis van Gaal might play Herrera, but I'd play Carrick, definitely. And then obviously the front four of Memphis, Martial, Rooney and Mata, they pick themselves. Nobody can come into that at all. Although, again, I would quite like to see Pereira come into that side as well. Picking up on some of your comments, I mean, no surprise. Nelson Akbor saying Darmian left back, Valencia right back. And Gustavo Katutu saying is Rojo fit. A lot of people saying that. We don't know. Potentially he is. Obviously, if he isn't fit, then I would agree. You'd put Darmian at left back and you would put Valencia at right back. Again, I've got no problem with Valencia, but I'm just saying if Rojo is fit, go with the lateral left back, go with the right back, and that's what I'm saying. Wolfsburg, well, what to expect from Wolfsburg? An injured Wolf in a way. They went to Bayern Munich, the Allianz Arena, and they were 1-0 up at half-time, played very, very well. And then they were just destroyed by somebody, Lewandowski, who was just amazing and scored all them goals in 9 minutes. You can't account for that. And so they are a decent team to go to the Allianz Arena and do what they did. Wolfsburg are probably the biggest game we've had in Europe for a good few years. And they will come and test us. They did have a player by the name of Kevin De Bruyne, you know, the lad who's gone to play for Mercenary City in front of about 10 people, but you know that's enough for City. But so he's gone. Loads of assists last year, but then potentially they've gone and bought a player that I thought could have been quite useful for Manchester United. Cameron says that Wolfsburg won't be easy to beat. Julian Draxler, very, very good player, young player. He's been touted around for a long time. Louis van Gaal's been waxing lyrical about him as well. He can cause a lot of problems, creative, quick, and he's a player we're going to have to watch. As I said, they've got Nicklas Bendtner as well. They've bought Dante from Bayern Munich as well. So they've got some good players, but they've got a collection of midfielders who basically are very, very quick behind the striker. Now, whether Bendtner will play there or not, who cares? Bendtner's not that good. I was joking at the start, but they are very quick behind that. I'm not going to pretend to go through all the names of all the players because that is not something I honestly do know. But I've watched them play, and they have got quick players, and they play three behind the one, so which is very a lot of European teams do that. They will come and they will have a go. And let's be honest, Manchester United have got to win this game, and I fully expect us to win the game because when you look to my left and you look at that front four, it's starting to click. Things are starting to happening. Rooney is starting. He's on that upward curve we were talking about on Saturday. As Billy Lord Ormston, MUFC, said, October is always Rooney's month. He is gradually getting better, and I think with Martial, Memphis, and Mata around there with him, things can get a lot better for Manchester United, especially if Fellaini doesn't have any involvement and we start losing the likes of Pereira and Ashley Young, who I want to come on to as well. What I don't get at the moment with Gary Anderson there says Wolfsburg drew 1-1 at home to bottom club Hanover on Saturday. They did, but they're a very good side. And as I said, against Bayern Munich, not many teams go and do that. And they were winning. They were dominating that game in the first half. And then Lewandowski happened. Mark, don't you think Herrera should get a game? Says Avishak. I think, but I don't really like Herrera as a defensive midfielder. He should be playing in the Rooney position, and Rooney's not going to get dropped. I'd rather have a strong base of Carrick and Schweinsteiger against a very good European team like Wolfsburg. I think Herrera as a defensive midfielder is a concern. He was poor against Bruges, and he played there quite recently as well. The game escapes me, but I'd rather have Schweinsteiger and Carrick. Keep Schneiderlin back for the Arsenal game because we're going to need a lot of legs for that. And they are quick, Arsenal, and we don't want to get overrun. So I'd be keeping Schneiderlin back for that one especially. But going back to the Young and Valencia debate. I mean, I think apparently some United fans are giving Valencia and Young a lot of stick. For me, they're just squad players. They are squad players. They are very good squad players to have when we suffer injuries or if someone's not performing, like Memphis taking off at half time. Against Liverpool, Ashley Young comes on and he does a very good job and he changes the game. Valencia, Luke Shaw's out. You can move Darmian across to left back. You can put Valencia at right back. Yes, he's got all the problems of last season where his final ball is awful and his possessional sense leaves a lot to be desired. But Valencia's recovery pace is so good that his possessional sense doesn't normally matter unless it's like he's playing somebody onside and he hasn't got time to recover. The Arsenal FA Cup game in I think January last season, didn't have time to recover, played everyone's side, and they scored. Those sort of mistakes, Valencia his pace is not going to cover for that. But as a backup right back, and we have lost Luke Shaw, got no problems with him at all. You cannot have a right back who is like world class as your backup right back. It doesn't work like that. He's a very competent backup right back. Valencia shouldn't be first choice if Darmian, and we've got a first choice left back. So I like Valencia. Same with Ashley Young, not a first team player for me. He'll have 4 or 5 games a season where he plays like Lionel Messi, and then the rest of them he's pretty up and down, which is why he should always be a squad player. So Ashley Young and Valencia are the perfect squad player, and you've got to have a squad player. Mark Fanning, Memphis finally scored. Let's hope he can still score again. What am I going to go for on Wednesday? I think Manchester United are going to win. I think we're going to win 2-0. I think the front four is the key. I think the back four against Sunderland, I know it was only Sunderland, but we were starting to get that confidence back, which we'd seemed to lose from the Luke Shaw injury. You know, the defence in August was so good and we were building on that foundation. We lost Luke Shaw. They lost a bit of confidence. But David De Gea is world class. Smalling and Blind, I mean, I don't want to keep going on about them, but they are really building a partnership, and it's so right that Blind should not go to left back. Let them two to keep developing. We've got Darmian, who can play either of the fullback positions. I think he'd had an off couple of games, but then he came back in at left back and was probably very close man of the match on against Sunderland. It was Martial who obviously pipped him, but he was very, very good. The midfield was sport for choice. We've got 4 very good midfielders in there, and the front 4 are starting to get to grips with things with the likes of Ashley Young, Pereira, who can come in and do a job, and even Herrera as a number 10. So we've got lots of options. We should be winning this game, and I think we're starting to score a lot of goals as well. I expect us to take a statement on Wednesday, 2-0, and start to show that this is what we've got. The big problem for Manchester United, and it feeds into, we'll start moving into a bit with the Q&A for the last few minutes now. So one of the questions was asked, can Manchester United win the league, Mark? Well, of course we can win the league. We definitely can do. We are starting to click. The defence is sorted. The midfield, it was always going to be very strong with Schneiderlin, Schweinsteiger, Carrick, Herrera. And then up front, we've got Martial, who's been a revelation. Rooney, who's hopefully on the upward curve. Memphis on the upward curve as well. Mata, he just scores so many goals and assists, whether he plays well or not. And then Pereira. The problem we've got, and Fellaini, I suppose, if you want that option, I don't really know what Fellaini offers us at the moment. I think he's been found out like he was against Chelsea towards last season. And apart from that last-minute Bruges goal, I don't think he offers much, but I digress. The problem Manchester United have got is we've seen it with Luke Shaw. If we suffer a couple more injuries, we're going to struggle. Fingers crossed, if we can get to January around the top, without any injuries, and we reinvest in January and bring 2 or 3 players in, we could potentially put a title challenge up. Of course, we can win the league. I just worry about the depth of our squad. We lose a Rooney, we lose a Martial, we lose a Memphis, and we're in trouble. And if we lose Smalling or Blind, we're in big, big trouble. So, and you look at our injury history over the last few years, and it doesn't fill you with confidence. So that's my concern. Of course, we can win the league. We're there because we deserve to be there. But I think October's a big month for us, and you expect to pick up injuries as Manchester United. And I think that might undermine us. So we'll have to see. Louis van Gaal can win the league, says Mark Fanning, and he certainly can do. I think the big shame is that we just didn't bring a couple more players in, a centre-back and another, and Pedro, because Pedro was meant to be coming, wasn't he? Pedro and a centre-back, and I think we're a lot stronger. We just are a couple of players light. But having said that, James Wilson, Lingard, Pereira, let's give youth a chance. You just don't know. Anthony Abderab says it's very weak, Mark. We need January window to buy big. I think it's difficult to buy in January, isn't it? It's really difficult to buy in January because you've got people who are cup tied in the Champions League, don't want to move yet. The sort of players that you're buying, are they the sort of players Manchester United want? We may not buy in January. That may just be wishful, hopeful thinking as well. Keen226 says Mata is rediscovering his form. Mata is... he struggled in that number 10 position where he had that one game against PSV. But in that right-hand side position, he does offer a lot. He comes inside and he scores, doesn't he? He's got a very good scoring record and assists as well. So Mata's a must at the moment. And that front four at the moment picks itself. I do want to see more of Pereira and Ashley Young. As I said, I'm not anti-Ashley Young, and I don't understand why people are anti-Ashley Young and anti-Anthony Valencia. They are very good squad players. Should have been the first team if we've got injuries, yes. Should they have been the first team if everybody's fit? No. But they're definitely very good options to have off the bench. And you need that squad thing. And another question I was asked was, I think it was Jesse or maybe Tyler. The Carrick fan, just very quickly there, says missing out on Pedro has turned out to be a masterstroke. Do start asking your questions, now. And Carrick fans saying, how did it go at TalkSport? We'll cover that in a minute. Pedro, I think we would have... I disagree with that, Carrick fan, essentially. I think Pedro would be the sort of player who'd play where Mata was. It's another player within the squad, Mata on the bench or interchanging with Pedro. It's just we are short of numbers if we get injuries, and Pedro would have been the sort of player who could play anywhere where you look to my left, where Memphis, Rooney and Mata are. He can play that position, and I think we wanted him, and I think we lost him to Chelsea because we did it. But definitely wish we'd got Pedro, just because he would have been another top quality player to have in the squad. In the long term, I think we'll get away with it. But if we pick up an injury to Memphis or Mata or Rooney, then we'll be saying we should have got somebody else. But yeah. And the squad thing about Young and Valencia, one of the questions, as I said, I think it was Jesse Pinkman who said it. If I'm wrong, do correct me. Does it worry you that since 1992 we've not had a regular youth team player within our squad? Obviously Scholes, Beckham and everybody like that. Now that surprised me, but I did think straight away, and it is true, we've had no youth player come through and become a Manchester United regular since 1992. A long time, but we pride ourselves on youth, and there is always somebody going back to the 1930s, I think it is. Manchester United have destroyed the record. We always have a youth product within our matchday squad, which has been every game for 70 years. It's unbelievable. But what I would say about that is Danny Welbeck. I know he never became a full first team regular, but we've had players who've been part of our youth setup since 1992 who have been good squad players. Welbeck, Fletcher, Cleverley, Wes Brown. There have been players there. To become a first team regular and do it, I think we are Manchester United, best team in the world, and it's very difficult. But of the current set, I think Januzaj could do it. I think Pereira could do it. I know both were brought in, but they could. We have got youth players who can come and do it. James Wilson is the one I would love to do it. I'd love to have a homegrown Manchester United striker playing in the first team, and he could do it. Not going on loan yet. Lou Van Gaal said he'll reassess it in December. If he's not going to get any game time, I think maybe the loan would have been better for him. I think he needs to play football. I think he's got the attributes. I know I was saying to somebody today about James Wilson, and they were saying, I don't know whether he can do it, but I think he's quick. I think he needs to bulk out a bit, and I think James Wilson can definitely do it. We have Pereira, we have Young, and Herrera and Lingard. That is more than enough. Mark, every team is short in numbers if they get injuries, so it's not just Man United. I disagree. I think our squad for the top, when you look at the top teams, is very thin compared to Arsenal, Chelsea, Manchester City. We are very thin. I mean, Chelsea virtually have another first team squad when you think about the likes of Willian and Ramirez. They've got Falcao, Remy, Costa up front. They have got 2 or 3 top players in each position. We don't have that. I do see the positives of it. He's got rid of a load of dead wood. I rather would have got rid of that dead wood and be thin and using youth. But that we're talking about whether we can win the league. And I'm saying we can win the league, but we need some help. We need some luck with injuries. If we get 2 or 3 more injuries like the Luke Shaw ones, or even hamstrings, etc., we are going to be using the kids, and that's very difficult. We've done it before, though. We have done it before. Could we really win the league, says Jordan B. I think I've just covered that. What else did I want to discuss? Somebody did ask if I had one bit of advice for Louis van Gaal, what would it be? Don't play Fellaini this season. I know that sounds really harsh, and I used to get on his back a lot last season, but I've seen it more this season. Fellaini last season, we were a different beast to what we are this year. This year, we're really exciting. We've not totally clicked yet, and still people are anti-Louis van Gaal. Totally, I'm not. But you look at that front four to my left, there's so much potential in there and so much pace. Long term, I'd like to see Mata out the team and Pereira in the team, and then it's even better. We've got so much potential and we've got so much pace, and we've got a midfield with Schweinsteiger, Carrick, Schneidlin or Herrera, whoever, who want to find them with quick balls and want to run the midfield and let the four ahead of them express themselves. You put Fellaini into that and it slows everything down. It's not a witch hunt against Fellaini. It slows everything down. When Fellaini was very good last year, when he hadn't been figured out, and we used to be able to hit him and he was bullying teams. We played Chelsea and they gave the blueprint to Everton the next week, and even the likes of Hull and Crystal Palace, how to deal with Fellaini. I know Fellaini did score against Crystal Palace, by the way, but he didn't have a good game. He just scored, which got us in the Champions League, which we should be grateful for, because last season he did contribute. This season, he's been found out. He slows us down. I don't like him anywhere near the team. It's the last 5 minutes and we've got to start throwing in long balls. Yes, throw Fellaini on. That's what I've always said. But my advice to Louis van Gaal is don't go back to trying the Fellaini experiment from the start or for any period longer than 20 minutes. He's got to be an impact sub where we're chasing a goal or something like that. But that would be my advice to Louis van Gaal. Don't use him because he slows us down, and we've got so much pace and expression in our attack now, and we want more of that. If you want an option, bring Pereira on, bring Ashley Young on, bring Lingard on, bring Wilson on. That's the future, not Fellaini in them positions. So that's my answer to that. And also in relation to Pizzagate, somebody said I haven't watched last night's show, so I don't know what went on. I think it was around the 35-minute mark, something about pizzas. What's your favorite pizza topping? Hawaiian, pineapple, ham, love it. There we go. Disagree. Vinesh says, okay, Avishak, Mark, don't you think Pereira should benefit from this? We didn't buy Pedro, isn't performing outstanding. Januzaj is playing good in Germany. So also, I always said that Januzaj going on loan was what I wanted this year. He started the first few games of the season, didn't set the world on fire. We can't afford to carry players who are 6 out of 10, which is what Januzaj was. We send him off to a very good club like Dortmund now in a good league. He's getting action, and by next summer he'll come back and we'll know whether he's improved or not. Brilliant, perfect, exactly. And Pereira is good enough to be part of the first team squad. Definitely needs to be on the bench. He was on the bench against Sunderland. I hope he doesn't regress again now. My other bit of advice to Louis van Gaal would be don't pick your subs bench on reputation. Our subs bench, you can basically pick itself at the moment. You've got Ashley Young on there, Fellaini's on there, Valencia's on there, McNair's on there, Romero, and there's not really any space for the likes of Pereira or Wilson to come in when everybody's fit. That's wrong for me. Don't find a place for Fellaini if it means putting Pereira or Wilson on there. Get the young lads involved. They're ready. I would love to see that more. I just don't like to look at the bench and think so predictable because it's going to be Ashley Young, Valencia, Fellaini because he likes them and they are good squad players. But get some of the youth involved. Seamus McSharry is Keano back. Well, I don't have the Roy Keane picture when it's a split screen, but you will see on my aftermatch reaction. And that's what I want to just finish on as well. Obviously, we're playing Wolfsburg on Wednesday. I'll be live straight after the game with the instant final whistle final whistle reaction, which I always do. And obviously on Saturday, after the Sunderland game, we did our first ever fan cams. You can go to the channel and look at Manchester United v Sunderland fan cams. Brilliant. I think we've got 7 or 8 up on the channel. Really pleased with those. Some of the regular panelists, but also we've got 2 or 3 new people. And on Sunday after the Arsenal game, we'll be doing it again. So if you want to get involved, do send us your fan cams. And I know we've got a few people who didn't make it on last week who did. So that was fantastic as well. And that covers it. Took a good 20 minutes. Manchester United v Wolfsburg preview. That's how I'd go with the team. And I've explained why. I think we're going to win 2-0. We've done a bit of Q&A. Monday night at 9 o'clock is normally a Q&A with me. But obviously we've done the preview because we are playing Manchester United playing on Wednesday night. I'll be back live straight after the game. Sorry about the Sunday night. Apparently the Sunday night show went to rat shit, but I wasn't there, so that's understandable. I will be back on all the future Sunday shows, so don't worry about that. It is the United Stand. It is your channel. Do keep getting involved and obviously keep spreading the news. And Jesse Pinkman says, is there a show tomorrow? No, there's no need to have a show tomorrow, is there? We can just watch everybody else fail in the Champions League, like City, hopefully. And that's it. Thanks, everybody. Missed you all last night on the Sunday show, but it's good to be back. Enjoyed doing this tonight. Do like just interacting with you all. And if you're not watching live, just comment below and we'll always reply. Everything seems to have gone a bit quiet as well as lately. I don't know, since the international break, everything's got a bit quiet. So if you can, mention the United Stand, like the videos, please, share the videos. We need to get things up again because United, we're on a high. United are top of the league. Loads of things to be positive about. I don't want it. We only seem to get loads of viewers when there's a crisis. Come on, let's enjoy the good times. But thanks everybody for watching. It is the United Stand. It is your channel. And roll on Wolfsburg. I'm really looking forward to it.